Hey ladies and jellyfish, welcome back to A.S.K's videos. Today I'm going to be reviewing the worst episode of one of my favorite cartoons, Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. If you've seen any of my other Ben 10 videos, you know that Ben 10 Ultimate Alien is my favorite Ben 10 show, and although I put the original at number 1 in my ranking video, I explained why in that video. Anyway, while Ultimate Alien may have some fantastic episodes, today we'll be taking a look at what is considered by many as the worst episode, Duped. Duped is actually the second episode of the show, and actually the 100th episode of the overall franchise. And in today's video, we'll see if it left a bad first impression or not for the viewers at the time. Let's jump into it. The episode starts off with the Forever Knight somehow bringing a tank and trying to blow up a museum. Yeah, I don't know why either. Anyway, the best alien, Wrath, who I've made a Twitter account for, busts open the tank and says his usual lines. Before he can finish with the Knights, Gwen calls him and tells him to hurry to Julie's tennis match, which they are at right now. Somehow, the Forever Knights escape, and Wrath goes full Super Saiyan and rips the tank in half and throws them at the Knights, but misses, letting them get away. New theme song plays. We never hear back from the Knights. I just assume Ben left a broken tank just lying there while the Knights made a run for it. Anyway, as an opening it was fine. It kept you entertained, and Wrath is always a nice touch to any episode he's in. Let's get into the actual episode. We go to Julie's tennis match as she gets interrupted by Ben, and he instantly gets recognized in the crowd. By the way, I love the crowd shots in this part, because they're both good and hilarious at the same time. In the close-up shots of Gwen and Kevin, everyone looks like a robot, but still commendable for having different designs. But in far shots, it's either the exact same, or just face blobs copy and pasted all over different bodies. It's kind of hilarious. After one point, the game apparently ends, and Ben jumps into the court for some reason, and Julie gets mad at him and leaves. And Gwen and Kevin just somehow also come into the court with no one saying anything or any background noise. What is this?
I'm sorry, it won't happen again.
It better not. The finals are in 3 hours. That should be enough time for you to figure out how to make this up to her.
Any suggestions?
Yeah, there's a plan. Ask me for girlfriend advice.
Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest issues with this episode, the flanderization. For those who don't know, flanderization is when a character is exaggerated into a single character trait until it literally consumes the character. We saw this with Patrick and Mr. Krabs in later SpongeBob, with Cosmo in later Fairly OddParents. It happens all the time. But the problem here lies within mostly Ben, a bit of Gwen, and a little bit of Julie. In this episode, the main Ben is extremely immature. He'd rather watch a movie than be with his girlfriend. He acts super immature in the beginning, and is basically Alien 4 Season 3 Ben all over again. Gwen's flanderization comes in her snarkiness to Ben, and why she cares so much about Julie, despite never really caring too much about her before. And she acts really mean to Ben in this episode. And Julie's flanderization is only minor because it's like she doesn't understand she's dating a universally known superhero, and only cares about herself. But she does get better near the end of the episode. And I get that she's only mad at Ben for only caring about himself. We cut to the Forever Knights, who, let's be honest, no one actually cared about after Alien Force. I feel like no one was actually too invested after how weak and unintimidating they were proven to be. Anyway, the two Forever Knights from the beginning explain their loss to their leader or whatever, and basically get the craps kicked out of them.
I can see that if I'm ever to restore the honor of this pathetic organization, it will require a more hands-on approach.
It will require a more hands-on approach. We cut back to Ben, Gwen, and Kevin as Ben and Gwen argue over why he was late.
Forever Knights? Like that's a big riddle. They're trying to steal some piece of alien technology so they can slay dragons or take over the world or whatever.
So now we just ignore them when they try and take over the world?
They're always taking over the world. But this is Julie's first professional tournament.
That line is one of the worst lines in the episode. It basically just removes any stakes and makes the Forever Knights more dopey than they already are. And we all know Ben's unflanderized character would never say that.
It's opening today, and there's a 2 p.m. show just a few blocks.
No.
But it's Sumo Slammers in 3D!
Ben?
It's their first live-action movie. Everybody knows live action is better than cartoons.
Jokes aside, you may have noticed that the last clip wasn't as high quality as the others. That's because, weirdly, the only HD version of the episode I could find was ironically on the Cartoon Network Australia YouTube channel. And they've literally edited out the line where Ben says live action is better than cartoons. Pretty weird. Anyway, this again just shows Ben's flanderization at work again.
Echo, echo! Okay, boys, set your ultimate Omnitrix to human and follow my lead. On the count of 10. 1, 2, 10!
Ben turns to Echo, and without any reasoning or past proof this is possible, turns into 3 of himself. I gotta say, the concept of this episode is actually pretty good, but I don't think using Echo without explaining it was the right way to go. And somehow, each Echo has a different personality, something else that has never been explained before. We got the main Ben, arrogant Ben, and kind Ben. I have to say, one of the highlights of this episode is Yuri Lowenthal's fantastic voice acting, which really shows how talented and underrated he is. He can subtly change his vocal inflections to sound nice or arrogant, and it really adds to this episode.
Where have you been? Julie's match is about to start.
I'm here. Why don't you put a sock in it?
Okay, well I do think this is a weak episode. I have to commend some of the choices they make. Like how the camera is looking up when arrogant Ben walks, to make him look more intimidating.
This mission's important to you. And you're important to me, my good friend. Let's go.
Something's definitely wrong here, but so far it's working out for me.
Also, Kevin in this episode is amazing. He's the only unflanderized character, and some of his scenes are downright hilarious. We'll get to those later. Anyway, main Ben goes to the movies, because they only showed the movie once for some reason, and we cut to arrogant Ben with Gwen. He basically just embarrasses Julie and flirts with some girl in the crowd. Nothing really special. We cut to one of the segments of my favorite part of this episode, Nice Ben and Kevin's interactions. I swear, the dialogue is hilarious, and this clash of characters is awesome.
Not to mention there's probably still unresolved tension from that whole hacking the Omnitrix thing that turned you into a monster, which, though I didn't want to say anything at the time, made you really hard to be around. Not that I blame you, since it was absolutely my fault that things went so south.
We cut back to Julie's tennis match as Gwen tries to make her feel better.
Just remember, I'm here for you. Kevin's here for you. Ben's here for you.
Why does she even mention Kevin?
All Julie wanted was a little support, but no! You're too busy being celebrity chick magnet.
Come on, it's just a dumb old tennis game. Besides, she was supposed to lose anyway. Huh. Sound really carries in here.
Yeah, one of the most uncomfortable scenes in the episode is that one. I don't really know why, but it just is.
It's Slammer time!
Wait, people get Sumo Slammers wigs at the movies in the Ben 10 universe? Now that's something I want to see.
Stop understanding. Stop apologizing. Stop talking about your feelings. I just want to find some Forever Knights and pound them.
Interesting.
Cut that out! It must be the Knights. We better suit up. Never do that again.
I swear, this scene is amazing. This is also made better by the fact that he turned into Humongosaur, the strongest alien, while acting super nice. The contrast and stuff like that are what make it fun for me. After a bit, sensitive Ben and Kevin take out the 2 Forever Knights and go against the boss, who puts some emerald in the eye of some alien tech and it comes to life and grabs him or whatever.
Excuse me, sir? But the signs clearly say do not touch the exhibits.
Signs? That's the best you got? Where's the usual smack talk? First we crack on the bad guys, then we trash them. It's what we do.
Keep that in mind.
There were aliens in Central America?
They came for the scenery, but they stayed for the chocolate.
Yeah, no. Sensitive Ben calls the other Bens for help, with the best dialogue ever, and they all meet up at the museum. Seriously, this museum really needs some better security. Anyway, main Ben turns into Big Chill, sensitive Ben turns into Cannonbolt, and arrogant Ben turns into Upchuck. And they all fail at stopping Urian. For some reason, the Bens join into one Ben.
You've gone back from 3 to 1. Really, Tennyson, haven't you heard? There's safety in numbers.
You'd think so.
I kind of agree with Urian. Does this mean the more Echo duplicates, the weaker the duplicates get? Why is 1 Ben stronger than 3 Bens? Why was it this hard to get this concept right? Anyway, Ben turns into Lodestar and basically kicks Urian's butt. Just a quick question, why didn't he just turn into 3 Lodestars before? Oh, never mind. I guess I'm not a genius screenwriter, so I can't really say anything.
Rest in pieces. Hey, Kevin! You're totally right about the smack talking.
Wait, this line implies that Ben remembered everything that happened to all the 3 Bens, since the smack-talking thing was between sensitive Ben and Kevin. So, does Ben get flooded with memories every time he turns into Echo? Again, this could have been a lot more straightforward if they just explained Echo's info to begin with. Anyway, we go back to the tennis court after Julie won her tournament. Gwen's flannerization here was honestly the most annoying she's ever been in the episode, and it really doesn't add to this episode's strong suits. Then we get probably one of the better scenes as Julie explains that she understands that this all comes with dating a superhero, but then completely destroys her character with this line.
Julie, I promise I'll make it up to you. Whatever you want to do, I'm there. Just name it.
Well, maybe we could go see Sumo Slammers the movie together.
Okay, of all the things they could do, Julie picks seeing a movie, and instead of any other movie, she decides to watch a Sumo Slammers movie? And wasn't the Sumo Slammers thing a one-time show? If not, why didn't Ben just wait a few hours before seeing everything here is forced and unexplained? And Ben, for some reason, tells her that he saw it during her match. Why? Like seriously, why would anyone tell the truth in that situation? It's probably the worst thing to do, but hey, we need Ben to be insensitive and flanderized, so go right ahead. And that was Duped. Was it the worst episode of the show? Well, yeah, probably. Look, this isn't a terrible episode, it's probably just below average. But for a show that later proved to have very high standards, it felt a bit insulting to say the least. There's a ton of funny moments, probably even from the whole show, and the concept is good on paper, but the characters are all flanderized, nothing about the logistics of the plot are explained enough, and the fights feel phony and not genuine because we're not really invested in them because none of the characters are invested in them. It is kinda clever how if the sensitive and arrogant Ben switched roles, the episode would have been perfect, but there are still a lot of problems with the episode that weigh it down for me. If this was an episode from Omniverse or another show that doesn't take itself too seriously, and has Ben act more childish anyway, this wouldn't have really stuck out like it did here. But Ultimate Alien proves so much more that this felt a bit lazy. But what did you think about the episode? Did you agree or disagree? Tell me all your thoughts in the comments below. And join my Discord server or follow me on Twitter to discuss more episodes from Ben 10 and other stuff as well. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out some of my other Ben 10 videos with the links above, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!